Welcome back to Jayhawk Wrestling. John Arter and Craig Christensen ready to bring you the second match of the day as the Jayhawks will be taking on the Lakers of Grand Valley State University. 133-pound bout, Andrew Null wrestling for the Jayhawks, and Andrew Null quickly goes right down for a quick takedown, gets the 2 points.
There's a quick ankle pick right off the whistle. That's an attention getter for Joey Montney.
Yes, Joey Montney wrestling for the Lakers.
Montney from Caledonia.
Null with a nice ride here. Puts the legs in, working after that left arm.
Good hip pressure on top there from Nold. My note on the last match was that
he has a chicken wing in on the left arm of Montney. Montney trying to look away from it. Nold almost touching Montney's head to his toe. Trying to turn him over. And he's getting pretty close. Here he goes.
Oh boy.
And there's the pin in the first period. Andrew Null, what a turnaround from his first match as he went out, got a takedown, got the chicken wing in, and worked for that pin.
Yeah, he left that chicken wing in there for a while, too. I thought for a minute that maybe Montney was going to be able to squirm out of it, but no dice.
Stephen Roupert winning big in the first match against Alma. We'll be wrestling Tyler Dempsey.
Dempsey from Delton Kellogg. Roupert, man, dominated his first match. Let's see what he does here.
He wrestled very well in his first match. Coach Mark Brunger mentioned he was one of a few Jayhawks wrestling very strong in that Alma match, but Roupert, ranked number 2 in the nation, went out and pinned his man in the second period after a 10-0 start after the first period. Double leg shot there by Roupert at the edge of the mat. Jayhawks look like they have a very dominating team, nationally ranked wrestlers, but you just never know when you get to the national level. Sometimes you think you're stacked, you go out there and just some bad things, you lose a one-point match, whereas other times you're not expecting much and the Jayhawks go out and place very well.
Right. And, so much can happen at the end of a wrestling season. It's such a long season that you get to the end and some guys are still starting to peak, and other guys who were ranked high at the beginning of the season have had enough, and it's like a job all of a sudden. That's the task of a head coach, and Brunger and Tiedemann, I know they know what they're doing. They're gonna have those guys wrestling well at the end of the season. We alluded to that earlier. You take guys in there that aren't ranked in the country and nobody knows who they are, and all of a sudden they're all Americans, and where'd they come from? Well, they're just wrestling well when they have to be.
There's a shot by Roupert, double leg. There's a 2-point takedown. Now Roupert with a deep tight waist, looking for an arm. Trying to get a tilt here. There it is. Now he has him flipped over to get some points. He'll get at least 3 here.
Yeah, you made a good point. It comes from that tight waist.
Only 2. Interesting. He counted about 5 times there. I was sure he would get a 3. But it's 4-0 in favor of Roupert. Oh, cross face. And we're not going to guess how many on this one. 2.
It's easier to count by 2s than by 3s anyway.
Too confusing when you throw a 3 in
I
there.
got to start taking my shoes off once we get past 3s.
2 more. 8-0 as we near the end of the first period. And 2 more. 2 by 2. And once again, it's a 10-0 lead for Roupert after the first period.
That's a pair of good first periods. He's
Yes.
going to owe you a couple of pens.
They start in a neutral position here. Now Roupert, ooh, there's a takedown.
Well, it looked like something big was going to happen
Yes.
with that underhook.
Yes, it looked like he was going to have that pinning combination hold on the way down to the mat. But Dempsey snuck out of that one, spun out of that hold.
Dempsey felt himself getting in trouble with that underhook and bailed out, gave up the 2 points.
Roupert has a 12-0 lead. Once we hit 15, it hits a technical fall. 3 more points, and that's it. Technical fall. 5 points.
5-pointer.
11-0 Jayhawks. As Stephen Roupert continues his very strong performances today with a 15-0 technical fall to go with his second period fall in the first match. So the Jayhawks have an 11-0 lead.
Be interesting for Mr. Roupert at the end of the day to count up all of his points, not team points, but points, match points. He scored a ton of them.
That he has.
How many points did he score in the first match before he scored the pin?
He had 12 before the pin. 149-pound weight class, Nick Starzik of the Jayhawks, wrestling Carter Augustine.
Augustine from Calvin Christian, local guy. Grand Rapids Calvin Christian. And
good front headlock by Starzik. And they break away. Starzik looking for a toss, comes right around, gets the 2-point takedown.
that was Starzik's second little pass by there. He was awfully close to scoring with the first one.
Gusting signaling for a timeout. Injury timeout.
It's hard to tell what hurts. Starzik just on top, dominating with some pressure and a wrist.
Well, as they have the timeout here, Craig, tell us a little bit about Grand Valley State College. They're considered a club, not an official sport by Grand Valley. Why would Grand Valley choose to be in the club competition versus a actual official sport?
Well, I think that the wrestling people at Grand Valley would love to be a fully sanctioned varsity program. Not exactly sure why they're not. I mean, they're a very successful club team.
Oh, it is.
Great wrestling tradition there.
It is.
They get kids to come there and wrestle on that club that are recruited to go other places to wrestle on sanctioned teams. I guess the short answer is I don't know. I don't know why they have, and I can tell you this: they've gotten a lot of money from me in tuition, and they call me asking me for more. And my answer to them is, when they have a fully sanctioned wrestling program, I'll contribute some money to their college, but not before.
And a 2-point takedown by Starzik.
I loved my time at Grand Valley, and it's my alma mater. I like following Grand Valley athletics, but it frankly is disappointing that they haven't reinstated that program.
And there's the end of the first period. 4-0. They do know how to play football down there, though.
Yes, they do. They know how to develop and subsequently lose coaches.
Yes. But it's a coveted coaching job for many to move into Grand Valley.
Well, it's a great community down there. Beautiful area. Right in the middle of the football belt of Michigan.
Augustine with the legs in. Starzik at his base, but as you mentioned before, keeps that head down on the mat, which can lead to trouble.
Yeah, and he's in an interesting position here. He's lost he got his right arm back.
Augustine trying to tilt Starzik here to get some points here. He's down 4-0 here in the second period.
Well, to beat the dead horse, this is, I think, the third time we've said it. You leave a guy on top of you, especially at this level. Club team or Division I, they're gonna find a way to turn you.
And that's the end of the second period with no points awarded. 4-0. Nick Starzik with a lead. Now we start the third and final period. Augustine trying to put that leg in, and Starzik grabs onto it.
Yeah, Starzik's in pretty good shape here. Got to keep the other one from coming in, but he caught that first leg, and that really puts the top guy out of position, or it can.
Yes, It forces him to ride very high here. He comes out the back door, and he's there for a 2-point reversal. 6-0, Nick Starzik.
Starzik seems to just wait on the bottom, wait for the top guy to get impatient and out of position, which works. That was physical. But as we say, there's a trade-off, you know, and the trade-off is leaving a guy on top.
Augustine up to his feet, gets the 1-point escape. 6-1. There's a shot by Augustine, attacking the left leg. And a 2-point takedown for Augustine. 6-3, a 3-point lead for Starzik. Augustine in with the legs as we near the end of the third and final period. And that's it. Nick Starzik with a 6-3 decision, winning the 149-pound bout. Jayhawks now lead Grand Valley 14-0. 157-pound Brandon Smith for the Jayhawks. And he'll be wrestling Gabe Stepanovich.
That was good work, Stepanovich. Stepanovich from Forest Hills Northern.
Stepanovich grabs a hold of that right leg. Smith tried to counter, and it's a 2-point takedown for Gabe Stepanovich. Ooh, been a while since I've seen that one. Pulls him right on over, right at the edge of the mat.
Extremely fortunate that didn't happen in the inside the circle, because that was tight.
And a 2-point near fall. Coach Rich Ballheis was right there, noticing that the 2 points were not awarded. Wanted to make sure they got them in the books. 4-0, Stepanovich. Is Stepanovich a sophomore, Craig?
It doesn't, you know, it doesn't say.
Okay.
We can say that he is.
A seasoned sophomore.
Nobody will call us on it.
Back towards the center, as you can see, that left eye of Smith. Catching that finger there in his first match.
He has a pretty impressive mouse over that eye.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm almost positive that I remember Stepanovich reading that name here last year.
Yes. Now Stepanovich in with the legs.
Stepanovich looks pretty good on top. He's been in a couple of scrambles, ended up on top both times. Smith with a lot of movement down there, just unable to create an opening yet.
There's a warning on Brandon Smith, a stalling warning. Smith looking for the switch. Now maybe pulled back. As we near the end of the first period. And it's a 4-0 lead for Stepanovic. Neutral position.
Smith going to have to be careful if he gives up the takedown, because Stepanovic scored those back points right off the takedown last time, and they no more than hit the mat. I heard Coach Bolheis say earlier today that their Grand Valley is going to wrestle in the Club National Duels next weekend down in Athens, Georgia.
Oh, good. Jayhawks were involved in that last year in the duels.
Yeah, they were,
National.
and it sounds like the club, at least the club part of that competition, broke off and are going to host their own.
Okay.
They were involved in the same national duels that the Jayhawks went to. It sounds like they're going to move their event down to Athens, Georgia. Be all club teams. I think he said there are going to be 26 club teams down there.
Oh my, Brandon Smith got himself into a tough one there. It's a takedown, and now he's being held on. There's the pin. Stepanovic comes up with a pin. It looked like Smith was going to try to grab and try to lean back and cradle, and he exposed his back and was stuck.
So much, it's all about position. You give up position, and there are consequences, and there it is.
I'm showing Brandon Vandenhout, but we mentioned that Brandon Vandenhout was going to wrestle an exhibition match at 174.
This is San Francisco.
Francisco, there it is. Dylan Francisco, who had a pin there in that first match. Wrestling Austin Gearlings.
Gearlings from East Kentwood.
Maybe related to his dad, maybe Todd Gearlings. He's a referee that we saw here at Bartell's Rotary Gymnasium quite a bit, and now you see him at the Big Ten down in the Big House calling big football games. Todd Gearlings. There's a shot by Francisco. No points awarded.
But Gearling's doing a nice job of staying in that scramble.
Yes, he is.
Francisco with his ankle caught now, but he's staying patient. Obviously in the advantage position on top there. Until he gets that ankle back, he's not going to be able to do much. Gearling's probably looking for the stalemate. Not probably, definitely looking for a stalemate.
He's going to hold on to that foot for dear life. And there's the whistle, the stalemate whistle.
That was a good shot by Francisco and an equally good counter just to get to the stalemate by Gearlings.
A 2-on-1 by Francisco after that left arm. Now he shoots. He's at the edge of the mat, has a hold of that right ankle, trying to pull him back on, and he pulls him right to his own ankle.
Yeah, that's, college and high school are different there on the edge. A lot of bad things can happen when you try to pull a guy back in. Of course, you don't want to leave those points there on the edge. Francisco made the choice to be a little bit more aggressive there and try to pull Gearlings in bounds. Hopefully he can have it not cost him too much there.
A lot of time left here in the first period. Gearlings in a positive position, gets the 2-point takedown. Right towards the tail end of the first period. Now Francisco gets to his feet, and there's the end of the first period. A 2-0 lead for Austin Gearlings.
Yeah, Francisco gave the takedown up on the edge over there. I think Francisco can take him down. He's got to do it in bounds. A lot of weird things happen on the edge when you try to pull a guy in, but it's tough because, like I said, you don't want to leave those points over there. He just has to initiate that takedown in bounds. He can get right back in the match.
Francisco chooses the neutral position to start the second period. Attacks that leg. Once again, awkward position, all tangled up. Francisco keeps that left ankle.
Gearlings, even though he's ahead, he's living dangerously, letting Francisco in so deep on those shots, but Dylan just has to find a way to finish those shots. Dylan tries that little shoulder shrug pass by. A lot of the Jayhawks have scored with that today. There's one of Gearlings' own.
There's a nice double shot by Dylan Francisco. And a whizzer counter. Gearlings gets away from it. And a shot back by Gearlings. And that's the end of the second period.
A few more seconds, I think Dylan could have scored there. Had him extended, starting to turn the corner, just ran out of time. Now we have some work to do. Do you keep him on the mat and try to turn him?
It's a 2-0 lead for Austin Gearlings of Grand Valley. Dylan Francisco puts in both legs.
Can't quite tell from here, but he looks a little high. Got his head on the mat, though.
Gearlings is at his base. And they stop it. Stalemate. Third period, 2-0 Austin Gearlings. Francisco with the legs in again. Maybe looking for the splits.
He's got him pretty extended. If Gearling's head comes out of there, he's going to be in trouble.
Oh boy. And injury timeout here, as he may have pulled a muscle.
Yeah, that gets tight. I mean, that extends a lot of stuff in your legs, but Francisco frustrated, and I don't blame him, because he was going to score back points there.
That he was.
You know, and now it's to the point where you're getting short of time. That leg series, whether you're going to split or guillotine, you know, that takes some time to develop. If you're going to get a turn, he's going to have to hurry.
He may have pulled a muscle there in that leg.
Boy, must be pretty.
That left leg, it's hard for him to support it at all.
Yeah, his knee buckled as soon as he put weight on it. I know that that's super uncomfortable to be in that split situation. And I thought that's why they stopped it, but he might actually be injured. That's even tender to the touch. It looks like he wins.
He may be done.
Now he seems to be able to bear weight on it. No, it's over.
Yes. Yep. He wins by default. Trevor Curtis wrestling for the Jayhawks, and he'll be wrestling Bruce Rao of Grand Valley.
Curtis, we didn't see him earlier. He's a sophomore from Delton Kellogg. Last year he was an academic All-American. In high school he was a state place winner.
Bruce Rao.
And Bruce Rao from Valley Lutheran in Saginaw, Michigan.
Shot by Curtis. Counter by Rao.
Curtis is 8-6 on the year.
We want to thank Neil Bradley, our camera person today, giving you Jayhawk Wrestling, serving triple duty as producer and director of Jayhawk Wrestling also.
Many hats.
Now Curtis attacks that left leg. And a 2-point takedown for Curtis. They go off the edge. Nice little touch on the edge of that Jayhawk mat. You can see all the different national champions that they have over there in the corner of what year, what weight class, who they were, and Jayhawks have had national champions over the years.
It's nice that they do that. You know, a little remembrance. Last national champion, was that 2001? Anton Hall.
Yes, Anton Hall.
Lots of All-Americans between then and now, but those national championships, as everybody knows, are elusive. Lots of All-Americans, and it's nice that the Jayhawks celebrate their academic All-Americans as well. Young men
yes.
who perform in the classroom and on the wrestling mat. They celebrate those academic All-Americans with a plaque on the wall inside the wrestling room, along with their national champions and their All-Americans and their national qualifiers, regional champions.
Curtis brings Rao back down to the mat. Rao back to his feet, gets the 1-point escape. We near the end of the first period. And that'll do it for one. Trevor Curtis with a 2-1 lead over Bruce Rao. Rao will start the second period, the down position. Rao quickly to his feet.
Who's going to make him work for that point? Stop that one for the safety of the wrestlers. I'm not sure what the official saw there, but it looked like something could potentially bend the wrong way, so he stopped it.
Rao is up to his feet, trying to strip away the hands. Curtis brings him back down to the mat. Rao working on a switch at the edge of the mat, may get the 1-point escape.
Yeah, I was afraid he was going to get the 2-point reversal there.
Very close. Nice deep shot there by Curtis, attacking that right leg.
He's got to be able to work his way up and finish that.
Rao keeps pushing that head down so he couldn't pick him up.
Yeah, Rao's controlling his right ankle too, so he can't quite turn the corner and score.
Stalemate.
Curtis just needs to step up a little bit faster, finish that takedown, take some of the drama out of this third period.
Shot by Rao. And there's the end of the second period. Only 1 point, the escape by Rao, and we're tied at 2. Curtis deciding what he wants to do, whether to pick the down position or neutral, and he goes with the down position.
2-1, right? No, 2-2.
2-2 tie. Now Curtis up to his feet, leans in, and Rao controls. Now Curtis trying to get away, turn it to a switch. And Rao continues to control, and there's the 1 point escape. Continue to work at it till you get it.
Yep. Never stop moving his feet there, and that's how you win those scrambles when you're trying to score that 1 point escape.
There's a double leg shot by Rao, and they go off the edge of the mat.
Now we're going to see that from Rao here in the third period. He doesn't have any options. He's got to score a takedown.
Yes, he's down by a point.
Oh.
Almost a hockey move there.
He went with the flying elbow takedown.
Stun him, then take him down.
Exactly. Looked like he was trying one of those little shrug pass-bys, but missed the shrug and missed the pass-by, and the only thing he had was the elbow.
Front headlock there by Rao. And they go off the edge. 3-2, Trevor Curtis with a 1 point lead over Bruce Rao. 174-pound weight. There's a shot again by Rao, attacking that left leg as we near the end of the match. Good counter there by Curtis. Again, another shot by Rao. And there's a stalling warning on Curtis. We're very close to the end of the match.
Yep. Curtis just trying to, he was in deep on some shots earlier, but.
And there it is. That's the end of the match. A very close 3-2 decision. Trevor Curtis over Bruce Rao. Jayhawks lead 23-6. Zack Johnston, a 4-2 decision winner over John Gaffney against Alma in the first match. He'll be taking on Shane Crawford of Grand Valley.
Crawford from Pinckney High School. See if Johnston decides to pick this guy up. Scored with a couple of lifts in his last match.
Yes. Crawford attacking the arm, a nice counter whizzer there, and it's a takedown for Johnston. Johnston just cuts him loose, a 1 point escape.
Cut him loose because that one wasn't any fun. He didn't get to pick him up and drop him.
Johnston, nothing there. There's a nice deep shot there by Johnston at the edge of the mat, and it's a 2 point takedown.
A nice finish in bounds, fancy footwork.
4-1, Zack Johnston with the lead here. And he gives him the option, escape. So it's 4-2. Johnston, a little spin move, almost like a whizzer.
Yeah.
Now he attacks both feet. There's 2-point takedown by Johnston.
And that was a nice little setup, too. The first shot he tried, he did it without a setup and didn't work. Oh. This one he set up with some hand fighting.
Now Crawford had the leg, but had to release it there at the edge of the mat. It's a 1-point escape. 6-3.
Well, Johnston's really being physical this match.
Johnston again attacking the legs. Sprawl counter.
And again, without a setup, I think he's 3 for 3 on his takedowns with a setup. He's 0 for 2 without the setup.
And another 2-point takedown for Johnston. It's 8-3. Ooh, a crossface and trying to bring him down to his back. Puts the knee in the back to help get the arms back. Looking for a possible cradle.
Looks like he's close to having that locked up.
And there's the end of the first period. 8-3, a 5-point lead for Zack Johnston over Shane Crawford. Johnston chooses the down position.
Got to be thinking bonus points here, score 1, and then maybe a takedown.
Little Granby roll through, and Crawford continues to hold on to that left leg. Ooh, a nice move there. Oh, and a takedown.
That's highlight reel.
How quick was that? 11-3. Nice move. Nice roll through by Johnston, and as Crawford was chasing him down to keep up with him, Johnston took him right down.
That was pretty impressive. Physical and athletic in this match. We're seeing a little bit of everything from Johnston.
Johnston grabs a hold of that right arm. Gets around front.
Well, if he can lock that, I lost it. He's trying to get the underhook on the other side and lock that on the hammer lock.
Years ago, there was a guy by the name of Jason Holmes, a young man that used to work that out and tie that up.
That was his series? He liked that?
Yes.
I don't think I ever said Jason came in just after I left. I don't think I ever even had a chance to see him wrestle. I met him a lot of times. Very nice guy.
Yes.
Tough.
Very tough. And a 2-point takedown.
He's going to try to do it again.
Picks him up. Brings him back to center. A 2-point takedown.
That was a good idea, looking for that half Nelson on the way down. Looks like Johnston wants bonus points. Looks like he is thinking pin there on that takedown.
15-5. And there's the end of the period. Start the third period with a 10-point lead for Zack Johnston. They'll start in the neutral position. Long shot there by Crawford. Easily stopped there by Johnston.
I have a feeling Crawford's young, like a freshman. That shot might have worked in high school. Far away and not a setup. It's not going to work against Johnston.
An 11-point lead for Johnston. Johnston trying all his takedown moves. There's a 2-point takedown. And a 1-point escape. 19-7 takedown. And a 1-point escape. (21-8), a 13-point lead. Coach Brunger says one more takedown, and that'll be the technical fall.
Wonder if Johnston's going to look for something to put him on his back with the takedown.
Tacks the leg, turns it to a double. Brings him in, and there's a 2-point takedown, and that does it. That's it, technical fall. 23-8. 5 points for the Jayhawks. They now lead 28-6. And now 197-pound weight class, Tom Bolday. Very, very strong wrestler who pinned his opponent in the first period against Alma. Will be wrestling Carl Worthy.
Worthy from Ogama Heights out of West Branch, Michigan. He is he's a good opponent. He's a 3-time NCWA All-American at 235. Looks like he's trimmed down to 197.
And a 2-point takedown for Worthy. Bolday looking for the switch.
So we have a match All-American versus All-American. Bolday All-American and Worthy a club championship All-American.
Bolday looking for the switch, gets up to his feet. At the edge of the mat, and it's a 1-point escape.
If that had happened in the middle of the mat, I think Bolday would have scored 2 out of that scramble.
Yes. Bolday.
Nice shot.
Grabs a hold of that left leg. Crossface there by Worthy. Worthy gets a 2-point takedown.
Well, it's a frustration on the mat when you get in that deep on a good shot and you don't finish soon enough and you end up giving up points from a good shot. That's frustrating as a wrestler.
Yes. Bolday up to his feet. And a 1-point escape. 4-2. Carl Worthy with a 2-point lead.
I'd say Bolday could keep attacking those legs. He just has to have a stronger and quicker finish. He got in too deep on that first one to give up on.
A shot there on the edge by Worthy. Shooting for a double leg. Good counter by Worthy.
It's a great point. One of the Jayhawk coaches just said you can't finish that on your knees, and everything about that shot was great. He had a great setup with some movement. Just got to get back to his feet to finish that shot.
As we near the end of the first period, a shot on the double leg there by Bolday. Bolday trying to keep his feet in, and a stalling warning on Worthy.
I think that's a pretty good call. Worthy is he scored early but hasn't done much since. I don't know if he's just thinking he's going to counter Bolday all day.
It's the end of the first period. Carl Worthy with a 4-2 lead over Tom Bolday. Worthy's choice to start the second period. He starts in the down position. Bolday puts in the legs.
He's high.
Bolday breaks him down, pushes the head in. Looking for a power half. Stalemate.
I'm going to not give up here a point here as a minor victory. We certainly, it looks like the whole match, it looks like Bolday is just on the verge of scoring. And he was in a good position there on top with that power half. So many times he was in deep on shots, almost scoring. You just wait for Bolday to break out and score a flurry of points.
Bolday breaks him down. Looking to control that right arm. Arm bar. There's 1 point stalling.
That helps. That could turn out to be huge. What does that make it?
4-3.
Certainly gives Bolday an advantage going into the next period. If he chooses down, all he needs is an escape to tie it.
And the stalling point towards the end of that period makes it 4-3. Carl Worthing over Bolday, and now Bolday starts the third and final period in the down position.
And you'd think, as close as he was to scoring on his feet so many times there in the first period, that late in the match he might be able to score one to win it.
And now Bolday nearly has a reverse. Puts the legs in, he should have it. There it is. There's the reverse.
Or just take the drama out of it and score a reversal.
Well, he has a 1 point lead now with a lot of time left here in the third period. Puts the legs in deep. Now he'll attack the upper body. Puts an arm bar on that right arm. crossface. Now he's got a cradle. He's got a cradle locked up. And he gets 2 points for near fall. That was a quick call, but he'll take it. It's 7-4.
Well, after being down early in the match, he clawed his way back.
He sure did. Stayed right with it. Crossface.
It's a pretty impressive win over an accomplished opponent in the All-American Worthy.
And there's the end of the third period. 4 more points for Tom Bolday, making it 7-4. 3 points for the Jayhawks, 31-6.
After this match, Brett Martin will wrestle got a couple more exhibitions after this one.
So at 285, an exhibition match here as Totolo wrestling him, wrestler from Olivet.
I don't think we saw Totolo earlier, did we? I don't remember seeing him. It's a nice little double leg for a guy his size.
2-point takedown. Now he has a chicken wing. Looking to turn him over. And a 3-point near fall.
Well, he might get a pin out of that. He's close.
Three more. Eight to nothing.
The ball and chain tilt there. You don't usually see that out of the big guys either.
There it is. There's the pin in the first period by Totolo. Fully dominated it here in the first period.
I don't know if that, did Brett have that tattoo before Christmas? I don't know if Santa Claus brought a tattoo.
What did you get for Christmas? Well, I got a tattoo. There's a shot by Martin.
Uh-oh.
And Martin gets a 2-point takedown. And a 1-point escape.
Slick little arm drag by Martin.
2 more points. And 1-point escape. Wow, how about that for a move? A little spin out of the double arm. And he gets a 2-point takedown. That was quick for a 285.
Yeah, that was pretty good footwork for a 285-pounder.
Yes. Now Martin putting in the legs.
I think he even had time to pose for some camera shots from his following after he scored that takedown.
Now Martin just lets him get away, 6-3.
I believe Timrick's real excited about being on his feet again.
Martin grabs a hold of that right ankle.
Yeah, Timrick tried a little front headlock there. No avail.
Stalemate. They'll start back in the neutral position. There's a shot by Martin. Goes after both legs. And a 2-point takedown. And that's the end of the first period. 8-3, a 5-point lead for Brett Martin.
Tim looked like he was close to having that cradle locked up.
Yes, he was going after that cradle on Martin. Now Martin has a hold of that right ankle. And the stalemate. Martin starts again on the bottom. Brett Martin gets up to his feet. Little roll there. Couldn't follow through. Now it leads to a half by Timurek.
Yeah, I'm not sure Martin had that one set up as well as he normally would have. Timrick it doesn't matter to Timrick. He's down a ton. He's not gonna quit. Martin's got to be careful not to make a mistake with him.
Martin trying to roll through again. It didn't work. So, coach, it's my first time trying these rolls. That's the end of the second period. Still 8-3. Now Brett Martin will start the third period, down position. Crossface. Martin up to his feet. And it looks like Timarek has the cradle locked up.
He does have it locked up.
There he lost it. 2-point reversal, 10-3.
Brett's hand was stuck down by his ankle. He probably could have scored three back points, but he couldn't get his hand out.
Now Timarek gets a 1-point escape. 10-4. A double leg shot by Martin. Brings him on down, a 2-point takedown. (12-4). Timarek up to his feet, gets the 1-point escape.
Tried a little foot sweep there, whiffed.
Shot there by Timarek. Has the right leg. And a stalemate. And that'll be the end of the match. A 12-5 decision. Brett Martin over Timarek in an exhibition match. Chase Singleton for Muskegon will be wrestling Aaron Baker of Grand Valley.
Singleton, a freshman from Caledonia. State placer last year. He's 3-8 on the season this year, but busy in this match. Who's he wrestling?
Aaron Baker.
Aaron Baker.
Aaron Baker of Grand Valley.
From Sand Creek.
No points. Baker now gets the 2-point takedown. Singleton up to his feet and gets the 1-point escape. Shot by Singleton. Picks Baker up. And a 2-point takedown. 3-2 Singleton. They'll start towards center. Baker up to his feet. Singleton brings Baker back down on the mat right after a warning. Now a power half from the right side. Now I'll try from the left.
If one side doesn't work, the other one will.
That's right.
Ouch. Well, you can see that from the camera, that elbow coming down on the back of Grand Valley wrestler's head.
Give him a little bit of a shot there. Now Baker up to his feet, looking for a switch, and Singleton able to maintain control. As we near the end of the first period. Cross face.
So both guys waiting for the other one to do something.
And there's the end of the first period. 2-point takedown. 4-3 lead for Baker. An escape.
What would you call that move?
Cartwheel.
The cartwheel. All right. I like it.
We had the Frogger, now we got the cartwheel.
Just like Coach taught us.
Escape moves. The 2-point takedown by Baker. Now Baker lets him escape there and has a 1-point lead, 6-5 here in the second period. Shot by Singleton, cross face, there's a 2-point takedown.
Coaches are yelling knee slides, trying to get Singleton to clear that right leg.
Baker puts in the leg. Singleton spins through and Baker maintains control. And that's the end of 2 periods, an 8-5 lead for Baker. Third period will start in the neutral position. Baker with a shot that was countered by Singleton. A little shuck move and a 2-point takedown for Baker.
Singleton had that front headlock. It looked like he was in a pretty good place.
A little sit out. Baker stays right with him.
Singleton's going to have to get his head off the mat and get his hips up and get moving down there.
A 10-5 lead for Aaron Baker of Grand Valley. Now Singleton gets back up to his base, and Baker puts in the leg. Puts in the half from the right side, makes it a power.
Now that it looks like he's looking for a half on the left now. He would have a hard time turning him with the left leg in and a half on the right side.
And that'll do it. A 10-5 decision for Aaron Baker over Chase Singleton.